Hey guys and gals, welcome back to the garage. It has been far too long and I've missed each and every single one of you. As always, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the videos. Greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys all had an incredible 2018 season. I definitely was very happy with the way mine turned out. As you guys all know, we started out 2018 full bore, tandem axle trailer, 2 standers, and just up to, I think we got up to 54 clients at one time. It's too much. It's taking up too much time. Couldn't plan vacations around my primary job in that, and just decided to scale it back. And so the Ybravo / Badboy 25-inch push mower came in. I wanted to go ahead and focus on, fewer properties where I could just take time, smell the roses, and relax doing the yards, get a little bit more of a workout than the standards were. Not having to worry about soil compaction and tearing up sprinkler heads and all those other things, and just getting back to basics and just doing this kind of for fun on the side. In that, I posted just an overview of the Ybravo Badboy, I'm going to refer to it, interchangeably today, mower, because I know it's a mower that's kind of interesting to a lot of people. It's cheaper than your Toro, is it Time Master or Time Cutter, whatever it is, or the X-Mark that's got the twin blades on it. I think those are a 31-inch. They're a lot heavier than this thing, a lot more complexity. This 25-inch has 2 speeds. It's got a nice, slow, I'm kind of wanting to go a little bit faster speed and a whoa, here we go speed. But it's really not that heavy of a mower. It's got the long handlebar on it. I really enjoyed it. I want to talk about, for those, now that I've had an entire season on it, it's had 2 oil changes done on it, and I did some maintenance that you're going to get to see at the end of this video. There's a couple additions. I want to talk about the things that I liked about the mower and the things that I dislike about the mower. Spoiler alert, I would encourage someone to purchase one. If you're thinking about it, it's a good mower for what it's meant for. It's meant for pushing yards that are well maintained. It's obviously not meant to be a brush hog. Power. That Kawasaki FJ180V motor, plenty of power unless the grass is 6 to 12 inches or it's really wet, like weeds and milkweed and stuff like that. I've had trouble in those things, and as you guys can see, the safety Nazis can get angry, but I basically a lot of times have opened that door in the back, and I've got this this weed eater string that I've wrapped around it, and so I'll sit there and walk off to the right of the mower a little bit while it discharges to the back. But even then, in wet, goopy grass, a lot of times that will still plug up. So I'm thinking about ordering the side discharge chute, but I honestly think that's only going to be good with that much of a airflow travel from the back of the mower out to the side. I really don't think that chute is going to be that beneficial in any type of wet or really tall clumpy grass. Fuel, it's decent on fuel, but like I said, power. The cut, as long as you're not rushing through, tall grass, it cuts nice. Doesn't really, the grass that I cut doesn't really stripe that well, so I don't really notice. So I can't really comment on that. The height adjustments are really easy. It is height adjustable on all 4 wheels, so that can kind of be a pain, especially the back. The front axle's kind of moving independently. And let me go ahead and make this interactive and show you guys what I'm talking about here as we start to go over some of these points. So this front axle is nice and beefy. You don't have, your tires aren't mounted to the actual deck. They've got this solid axle, so it's pretty tough. I haven't noticed any type of bending or anything. The frame, front's easy to adjust. The back, you've got to kind of adjust it and then adjust the other side, then adjust it the rest of the way if you're doing anything significant. I have some yards I cut pretty short, and then my yard I cut at about 4 inches for the St. Augustine grass. Adjusting the, so let's go ergonomically in the back here. Because this is a heavier mower, honestly, by the time I was a couple weeks into the season, I didn't notice this thing being any heavier than a standard mower. So if you want to be nice and strong, buy one of these things. They have extended the handlebars a lot, so you get a little bit more of a fulcrum effect. You get that extra leverage. So I really don't notice it being bad. Of course, choke, high speed all the way back to cutoff. Easy controls, blade engagement, and your drive. That's kind of interesting to get used to initially because it's kind of different than a lot of other mowers, but again, now that I've been using it for a while, no complaints there. That's a stabilizer here on the side. So complaint number one on this thing is this lip. Now I'm guessing, they say this is like a wear strip thing here, but you guys can kind of see in here there is this indent. Let's see if I get the camera up there and just capture that. Yeah, there's that lip that hangs over the edge here, and grass loves to get caught up in there, and so don't like that. It seems to hold a lot of grass caked up into the deck if it's wet. Now mind you, if you're cutting dry grass or fairly short grass, it's fine, but if you're in thick green weeds, then you'll run into a problem there. So I don't care for that. The engine overall is pretty quiet. I like this. Easy to get to, easy to clean. Air filter up there, nice oversized air filter. Problem that I had with this thing over the season, carburetor. So the carburetor, I went out on the job and the engine was hydrolocked. The piston was full of fuel, so I had to come home, take the spark plug out. The spark plug is not exactly the easiest thing in the world to get to over here, but with a deep socket, deep spark plug socket, you'll get it. Drained the fuel out of it, put it all back together again, ran fine the rest of the season, don't know what happened. So we'll be installing, I went ahead and ordered a fuel shutoff valve, and I'll go ahead and link that, or put that up on the screen now. And then here recently in the season, it started to stutter and stammer a little bit. Had to clean the carburetor out because it was having trouble running. And I don't know if it just got gunk in it or what. It was running good, but I guess when I put the carburetor back together again, the gasket didn't seat well. So later on in the season, had fuel seepage out of here, and it was running rough again. Ended up spraying some carb cleaner and it got it to work again. But put this new carburetor on it, which you guys will see here in a minute. Another addition that I did is I went ahead, because of those issues, and installed that inline fuel filter that I'll put up on the screen now. But installed that, and like I said, I'm gonna put a fuel shutoff there. Another thing, dislike on this mower, and this is more of a Kawasaki thing than anything, but you can see here where this red line goes up. This was installed after the fact, nice little oil drain on here. That did not come with the mower. So stock, there's really no easy way to get the oil out of here unless you tip the engine on its side and drain out from the oil plug over there. So I ordered this hose, I think it was like $22 from, I think it was Jack Small Engine Repair, and installed that. This oil filter is nice, big, easy to get to. The only thing I don't like is this feels like this is a composite material, not metal. It's just, I wish there was another attach point here, because when you really are tightening that down, this whole thing kind of torques a little bit, and that just makes you nervous. So your speed adjustments here, it's nice and easy, high, normal, and the low mode. And then of course right down here, this little red thing here, you can turn that adjustment knob, and that will adjust the blade tension. The clutch basically for the blade, which I really can't show you guys. It's going to be darn near impossible for me to get down here and show you this, but that's another area down here in between the deck and the engine. Because the deck has got such an elevation change on it, you really can't see it very well, but you can see how much the engine is off the deck back here. And because of that, a lot of grass can get up in there, and I really don't like that. I always blow the mower out after each use, just because I don't want grass getting up against those pulleys down there and heating that belt up and warming and cooling that belt and fatiguing that belt and just having a premature issue with that belt. So that is a capture point where it captures a lot of grass and debris. Other than that, though, it's been a solid mower. The carburetor issue was a problem, and that's, a Kawasaki problem or a fuel problem. It's too many variables to list. I will say the carburetor on this thing, I tried to find a rebuild kit and had hell trying to find one. So I bought a new one thinking, man, that'll be 40, 50 bucks. Because my power string trimmer and echo blower down there, those carburetors, like, I think it's 12, 13, 14 bucks for a rebuild, and then it's between 20 and 40 bucks for a new carburetor. I was hoping this thing would be 50 or 60 bucks. It was $100 for a Kawasaki carburetor for it, so it's kind of, and then the aftermarket ones were like 100 to 107 bucks, so that was kind of expensive. That was kind of $100. That's the price of a little throwaway mower you can get from Walmart that'll probably last you for a while. So I wish the carburetor was a little bit cheaper, but overall I would recommend it. Like I said, wet grass, I was spoiled. I was used to the Skag 36 and 48 inch V-rides that I had with the big Kawasaki engines on them, so they could cut through wet, grass and tall grass and weeds with no problem. Obviously this is meant to be a finishing mower, but the speed at which I get stuff done compared to a 21 inch mower, you notice it. It moves quick, it moves through the grass quick, it doesn't get bogged down as much when you're cutting your regular dry grass. And that extra, 4 inches over your 21 inch mower, you really notice it after a couple passes when you're almost done, especially on these long sides. So overall, I would recommend purchasing one. I'm still on the fence about buying the discharge chute, but I probably will do that just because it's a lot safer than what I end up doing there with the deflector kind of down in the back. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you found this useful. We'll go ahead and cut to the back now, the maintenance that we did on this thing. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I will make sure this season, I apologize, last season I never got around to just putting a camera up, putting the GoPro on the truck and filming this thing in action. I will get that done this coming up season, and who knows what type of videos we'll post. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys around soon.
All right, so a little bit of voiceover here for what's going on. We're taking the fuel tank off the mower, and like I said, before I installed that oil drain hose, this was the only way to get the oil out of this mower. Otherwise, you just make an absolute mess on the deck. So getting to the fuel tank's not too bad with the mower on its side like that. Just release the tension on that clamp, and take a flathead, just kind of manipulate the tank right past that little bracket there. Bam, drain that fuel out. There's that new inline fuel filter we're going to install here. Plenty of room to fit all these things in down there. Try to get that camera in so you can see it. So now I got to take these 3 bolts off to get the oil filter assembly off the mower. The little gasket came loose inside of there. And then you can just sort of see underneath that gray protrusion there, where the bracket is, I should say, that the handlebar tube comes in. That's that little cap there, and that's where you normally drain the oil from. So it's an absolute pain. This is a necessity on this mower, and to be honest, for the price you pay on this thing, that should have, whether it's Badboy, Ybravo, or Kawasaki, somebody should have been providing that hose. I know in the big commercial mowers, a lot of them have that drain hose installed. And for a push mower that's well over $1,000, that should be an option standard. Now you can see this is, I want to go ahead and get this off now while it's off the mower. I don't know who torqued that one down, but that's a composite type material. It really makes me nervous cranking down on that. Took a couple minutes, but we finally got it. Made a mess. It's not terribly hard to get that oil filter off when it's still attached to the motor. Obviously, you don't take these things off normally. Just realized a little gasket was missing. There we go. Put that little gasket back in there. It's nice. The gasket on this thing's actually nice. As you can see, there's the outlet for the oil and the return for the oil, and they're both recessed in there, so the gasket fits right down there, and it naturally just wants to stay right there with the mower at this orientation. Obviously, if it was on its side, it'd be a little bit trickier, but with a little bit of oil coating it, it's going to stick right in there. Other than getting the spark plug out, this mower is really easy to work on, and even the spark plug, as long as you have a deep well socket for it, it's no problem to get it out. But you can see how quickly, I mean, this is obviously time lapse to 4 times the speed, but I was able to install that clip, install the inline fuel filter, change the oil filter, change the oil, sharpen the blade, and replace the carburetor all within the course of, I would say, 45 minutes maybe, tops. So it really is a simple mower to work on. You go with the blades, nice easy pull off on the blades. You got a dual bolt system on there. The one thing I wish is that I wish that Oregon company that makes like the Gator blades made blades for this thing. As far as I know right now, they don't. It's interesting to me that the bottom of the deck was that clean. You can see where the grass kind of stays in there. So let's let all the engineers and safety Nazis galore go nuts over the way that I sharpen these blades, but it works. Used to have a trailer, just C-clamp the blade to the trailer, but yeah, just got to do what works here. Time lapse makes it look like I did more passes. I was really, there was kind of just lightly touching the blade trying to figure out where it was. This time, got it right. Nice sharp, very little needed to do that. And back on she goes. It doesn't have like a keyed position, or there's no like protrusion from that center hub to hold the blade on there, so you just gotta hold it on there while you get it up there. But again, not a hard task to do at all. Normally the mower never goes on its side. Here, I get all these tools thinking this is going to be a really hard nut to pop off, and it was just hand tight. And of course no oil was left, so having it on its side like that drained all the oil out of it. So go ahead and put the fuel tank back on. Need to get some clamps for that inline fuel filter, but I'll wait to order those until I get that new fuel shutoff valve in there. I was going to try and shove it up underneath the hole there, but there is a nut that comes halfway through that tubular handrail, so you can't hide the oil drain hose there. I don't remember what I was doing here. Oh, is this carburetor change? I think this is carburetor change out. All right. So here you go. 2 bolts, 2 nuts, sorry, on these 2 studs. And then one more right there that you can kind of see on the housing and engine. One of the nuts had dropped right into one of the cooling fins there and couldn't get it out. So had to go hunt. I think that nut's actually the same size as the other 2. So I went and tried 3 other nuts. Finally found that one that worked. That was actually the same size as the other 2. And then bam, your air intake housing is off. There is a little bypass tube on this thing that you have to disconnect. So I had moved it over there. Finn is curled up and sleeping in that cold garage. He wanted to come out and see what was going on. So yeah, you can see me moving that little bypass. I don't know what that is. If that's like an exhaust gas recirculation valve, I have no clue. But now you can see there's 2 control cables. I guess your choke and your throttle with springs on here. Disconnect the fuel line here, and then just kind of manipulate that out past the studs. And you can see how quick this was. I mean, granted, this is 4 times the speed, but this was just a couple minutes. And my fumbly hands didn't take hardly any time at all. Now you'll notice here, I was like, what is that? And then I had no idea, because there's a big rubber grommet type, almost like a gasket, but it's really thick. I guess you could call it a gasket on the side of the motor there. And I was like, what is this? Well, it turns out the actual felt gasket had disintegrated. And so that might have been what was letting some air into the engine, because originally when this thing was starting to act up, I was literally having to run it on full choke. And so I have ordered some new gaskets. There's actually one in between the engine and the carburetor, and there's one that goes in between the carburetor and the inlet tube that goes up to the air filter. Both of them are coming apart. The one that's on the inlet tube still in good enough shape that I was able to run the mower and actually take this out to a job today, to a customer's house, and get it working. But the gasket between the engine and the carb is obviously completely disintegrated and gone. But because that is a rubber kind of grommet there, I was able to run it without a problem. So hopefully those new gaskets will come in next week and should be ready for the season. So I don't bolt everything down because I wasn't sure anything was going to work at this point. Brand new carb. This was a completely different model number carb. So I don't know. Maybe they indicated it was a replacement for the older model number. Maybe Kawasaki had problems with that carb. I don't know. Hopefully. So hopefully we won't have problems here. But here we go. Final start. Got to get fuel back into that thing. She starts like a steam train here, just nice and slow. And took her out to the job and mowed some overgrown wet grass in this cold Texas weather we're having. So thank you guys for watching, guys and gals, and hope to see you guys around soon.